Dallas this morning with the Cowboys have acquired a wide receiver, and oh boy, I'm so happy. George Pickens from the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's the latest from our NFL insider, Jonathan Jones. This AM, the Steelers are reportedly receiving a draft compensation, including a third rounder, and of course some pick swaps there on both sides. Pickens entering that final year, his rookie deal, posting 59 catches and 900 yards and 3 touchdowns this past season. So when it comes to him going to Dallas, they get a number 2 next to Cee Dee Lamp, and these are what these numbers look like for him in 2024. Of course, when he got there from Georgia, had to go through some growing pains, but the numbers are there. You see targets a game, almost just at 8 per game there, and about 65 yards per game there, as well as total touchdowns. But when it comes to Pickens, you got a wide receiver in Dallas to help Cee Dee Lamp and Dak Prescott, and I'm so happy. And somebody to help me here with my happiness, Lejay Duzable. And Lejay, you know how I feel about this because we needed this for so long. But your reaction, of course, for Dallas getting a receiver next to Cee Dee Lamp.
Brandon, this is a massive deal for the Dallas Cowboys. Let's not forget they're chasing the Washington Commanders and also the Super Bowl champs, the Philadelphia Eagles. And people had questioned what Jerry Jones was doing this offseason, not adding an heir apparent to Cee Dee Lamp. To your point, I have a stat for you, B. Going back to the 2021 season, that's the last time Dallas had more than one receiver eclipse over 800 yards. And that was Amari Cooper, Dalton Schultz, and Cee Dee Lamp. All three of them did it in that 1 year, and they had one of the most explosive offenses in football. So it was time for them to get Cee Dee Lamp some help. And you talked about it. They got a true number 2 receiver. Some would even say a middle-of-the-pack number 1 receiver in George Pickens, who is a true X receiver, big-body receiver. You can put on the backside to keep that safety in the middle of the field. That way, Cee Dee Lamp can do his work in the middle of the field, and you don't have to worry about him getting doubled as much. Because if you decide to move that safety and you leave George Pickens one-on-one on the outside, we've seen the highlight reels. You see some of the pictures right here. He will go up and high point the football. So this was a massive deal for the Dallas Cowboys because they needed somebody to pair with Cee Dee Lamp also to compete in that very tough NFC East.
Speaking of those numbers, check this out. The most receiving yards at 30-plus air yards in a season, right behind Tyreek Hill from 2017 with 12 of those. And you talk about it there, Lejay, when it comes to the Cowboys, they get a number 2. But on the flip side, the Steelers, we thought we'd see Metcalf on one side, Pickens on the other. We don't know who the quarterback is, assuming it's Aaron Rodgers. What does this mean for them? Of course, they get picks, but you lose maybe a possible number 2 there in the Steel City.
And that's the question. How does this potentially affect Aaron Rodgers coming on board? Now, I think there's something to be said that Aaron Rodgers this offseason threw with DK Metcalf, and he didn't throw with George Pickens. Maybe he knew something was coming down the pipe in regards to a trade. And then also, you talk about a major loss for that Steelers offense. You knew something was probably going to happen when they paid $30 million plus a year to get DK Metcalf after trading a second-round pick for him. So George Pickens is going to the final year of his deal. Things have kind of become contentious between him and some things that were happening on the offense. He felt like he wasn't getting used properly. So the Steelers look at it this way. We just gave $30 million a year to DK Metcalf. George Pickens is probably going to be asking upwards of $25 million per year after this season. We're not going to be able to pay both guys. Let's get some draft capital. Let's get a third-round pick, and also let's do a pick swap where we get a 5th-round pick and give up a 6th-round pick. So I actually loved it from that standpoint when you talk about the business of football, because the Steelers felt like they weren't going to pay 2 receivers over $25 million a year. Why let a guy just walk in free agency willy-nilly? Let's get some draft capital for him.
So what do you guys think about that, you Cowboy fans out there and you Pittsburgh Steelers fans? I know you guys got to be kind of reeling after that trade where you didn't get much for him that's going to help you this year. I don't know what they're going to do for a second receiver unless they think Calvin Austin is going to be the man. But who knows? In case you guys don't know, I'm Johnny with the Last Call podcast, where we bring you the latest in sports news and entertainment. Not always in that order, not always on the same show. So I was going to throw a little teasing video out there so you guys can prepare for what me and my partner Lee are going to be talking about tonight on our podcast. So stay tuned for our podcast for tonight, which should be uploaded tomorrow morning. So once again, this is Johnny with the Last Call podcast, bringing you the latest in sports news and entertainment, not always in that order. Stay tuned, but enjoy this teasing video until we can get to you tonight.